When I was a young man, I had dreams and ambitions like many of you. I wanted to make something of myself and to achieve greatness in this life. But the path forward was unclear, and the obstacles seemed insurmountable at times. I will never forget one particular low point. When I found myself sleeping in a small rented room with no money to my name and an uncertain future looming ahead. During those dark days of struggle, I easily could have given up on my dreams. The grind of trying to get ahead, while having so little, was brutal, both mentally and physically draining. There were moments I doubted myself, wondering if I had what it took to turn my circumstances around. But even in my darkest hours, I couldn't shake this inner drive, this burning desire to create something more from my life. So I made a choice in those humble conditions. I decided that from that point forward, I would grind in silence. No more complaining, no more feeling sorry for myself. I would put my head down and give everything. I had to clawing my way out of that, but through sheer force of effort and will. When others were sleeping, I was working tirelessly on my craft. When the doubters mocked my lofty ambitions, I used it as fuel to my fire rather than letting it diminish my dreams. The decision to grind in silence was one of the most pivotal moments of my life. It set me on a path of sustained effort, of relentless pursuit of my goals through discipline and determination. Little did I know at the time just how powerful and transformative that mindset shift would prove to be. You see, when you commit to grinding in silence, something profound happens within you. You stop making excuses and you start making progress. The grind forces you to get real with yourself, to take an honest inventory of what you're capable of when you strip away all the noise and distractions. It's just you and your ambitions staring each other down in the stillness. In that silence, in that grind, you discover the truest essence of who you are and what you're made of. The grind doesn't care about your background, your education, or your circumstances. All it demands is that you put in the work day after day, hour after hour. It's a great equalizer that rewards effort above all else. But the grind also becomes a powerful filter. It separates the faint of heart from those with an unbreakable spirit. You see, most people can't handle the grind. They want success, but they're not willing to pay the price of sustained, focused effort over a long period with no guarantees. The grind inevitably breaks them because it demands more than they're willing to give. Not you, though. Not those of us who embrace the grind in silence. We're cut from a different cloth. We're the ones who wake up early and stay up late, putting in the reps, honing our crafts in the shadows. While the world sleeps, we grind, chipping away at our dreams with a monk's dedication. For us, the grind isn't a burden. It's a privilege, an opportunity to earn our goals through the sweat of our brows, right? Through the grind. We cultivate a mental toughness that becomes our shield against the slings and arrows of doubt and setbacks. The silent consistency of our efforts forges an unshakable self-belief that no critic or naysayer can rattle. We know our capabilities in a way that the outside world couldn't possibly comprehend because we've pushed ourselves to our limits and prevailed time and time again. Those who choose to grind in silence understand that true success stories are written behind the scenes, far away from the spotlight's glare. It's in those unwitnessed moments of perseverance, of attacking each day with renewed focus and determination, that the foundations of greatness are laid. The grind is where character is built, where resolve is fortified, where that unbreakable self-belief is earned through sheer force of action. I'm here to tell you that when you embrace the grind in silence, miraculous things can happen. It's doors you never thought could open suddenly become unhinged. Opportunities you couldn't previously perceive materialize before your eyes. That's the power of the grind. It has a way of attracting the things you've been working so hard for into your life. The universe can't help but conspire in your favor when it witnesses your relentless dedication and action. But the grind in silence yields rewards far greater than just worldly success. By pushing yourself to your limits and expanding your capability, you gain something priceless, an unshakable belief in your own potential as a human being. You start to look at yourself differently, with the eyes of someone who has stared down their fears and insecurities and emerged victorious on the other side. That's a kind of confidence that no amount of money or accolades can buy. It's a supreme self-assurance that comes from knowing you have what it takes to transform your life through sheer grit and determination. With that mentality powering you, There's no dream too audacious, no ambition too lofty. The possibilities for your life become unlimited when you've proven your ability to grind in silence. So if you want to reach the full extent of your potential in this life, commit yourselves to the grind. Don't be deterred by the size of the obstacles ahead or by those who mock your resolve. The path to greatness has always been paved with adversity and ridicule. That's precisely why those who embrace the grind stand out from the crowd. They're willing to endure the hard road when so many others fall by the wayside. But I promise you this, if you can weather the storm of the grind and remain steadfast in your commitment, you'll reap rewards beyond your wildest imaginings. I'm not just talking about achievements and accomplishments, although those will surely come. More importantly, you will forge an unbreakable spirit and discover the limitless power that lies within you when you're willing to put in the work that so few can sustain. So start grinding today in those unglamorous and witnessed moments. Lay those bricks of effort and consistency that will one day form the foundation of your success story. And do it all in silence, letting your efforts speak louder than any words. Because here's what the world has yet to understand. It's those who grind untamed, unshackled from the expectations of others, who ultimately rise above the noise to leave their mark on this world. I was once that young man staring down an uncertain future, wondering if I had the strength to turn my circumstances around. But I made the choice to grind in silence. And it made all the difference. That grind toughened my spirit, stoked my self-belief, and ultimately led me to the life I could previously only dream about. And if I can do it, if I can claw my way from those humble, desperate conditions through the transformative power of the grind in silence, then so can you. All you need is the courage to start and the fortitude to never stop grinding away at your craft, at your goals, at the vision you have for your life. So embrace the grind, but do it in silence. Let your efforts speak for themselves as you build an unbreakable spirit through consistent, sustained work over years, not days. In the silence of that grind, you'll forge the indomitable self-belief required to manifest your dreams into reality. You'll become one of those rare individuals who doesn't just accept what life serves them, but who shapes their destiny through sheer force of effort and will. That is the power of grinding in silence. It's an understanding that your circumstances, whatever they may be right now, are not permanent. They're simply the humble beginnings of a heroic effort, of a grind that will elevate you to heights you can't currently comprehend. So don't be deterred from where you're starting. Be inspired by the understanding that the grind has a way of shifting you onto a path of perpetual growth and evolution. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. You can go through life as a spectator, watching others claim the success you crave while making excuses for why you can't achieve your own ambitions. Or you can take that leap of faith, put your head down, and commit yourself to grinding in silence every single day, letting the world bear witness to your exploits, only once you've manifested them through that silent, sustained effort. It's not the easy path. But then again, nothing great has ever been accomplished through ease and comfort, through real achievement. The kind that changes lives and leaves legacies, demands that you embrace challenges, overcome adversity, and remain steadfast in your pursuit of greatness even when the obstacles seem insurmountable. And let me let you in on a secret. That's precisely why so few are willing to do it. The grind, especially when done in silence away from the praise and accolades, is brutal and unforgiving. It tests your resolve and strips you down to your core, separating those with unbreakable spirits from those who are faint of heart. The grind doesn't make exceptions or hand out pardons. If you're not willing to give it your fullest effort, day in and day out, it will promptly show you the exit. But for those of us who embrace that grind with open arms, who accept its ruthless terms, and commit to grinding in the shadows until our work can no longer be denied, we reap the greatest rewards this life has to offer. Worldly success, unshakable confidence, the fulfillment of our deepest dreams, it all becomes ours when we prove our mettle again and again in the silence of the grind. So which path will you choose? The safe road of mediocrity and regret, or the path of grinding in silence to manifest the life you were truly born for? The choice is yours, as it was once mine all those years ago. Just know that if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to block out the noise, and criticism and just grind away at your ambitions in the shadows, you will eventually rise up to claim your piece of greatness in this world. I can't promise you it will be easy, because the grind by its very nature is grueling and demanding. There will be times when you question yourself, when the doubt creeps in and you're tempted to abandon your efforts. In those moments, recall the vision of who you can become when you sustain that grind over years, not days. Reconnect with your why, that driving purpose that first compelled you to take on the grind. Let it reignite the flames of determination that the grind demands you keep stoked at all times. Because here's what I know to be true. Those who possess the fortitude to grind in silence, to put in those reps day after day in the shadows while the world carries on unawares, those are the ones who ultimately ascend to the peaks of greatness. They're the ones whose achievements can no longer be denied, whose successes shatter all expectations and force the world to take notice. It's by grinding in silence. You earn the right to step into the spotlight through the sheer weight of your efforts and accomplishments. The grind is the path of the greatness. The ultimate realization of your fullest potential is the destination. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who has walked that road to its highest peaks, that the view from the summit is even more breathtaking and rewarding than you can possibly imagine right now. So choose the grind. But do it in silence, letting your consistent efforts rather than your boasts and proclamations speak for you. In time, if you remain steadfast in that commitment, your grind will transform you into one of the rare human beings who writes their destiny not through words, but through the sheer force of disciplined action and supreme self-belief. Because in this life, the greatest rewards are reserved for those who are willing to blaze their own trails through the fires of the grind, while others shrink back from its searing demands. Heroes aren't born. They're forged in the silence of the grind, pushing beyond the self-imposed limits that shackle so many to lives of regret and unfulfilled potential. It's that choice. That path of grinding in silence is calling to you at this very moment. The question is, are you ready to embrace it and do the work required to manifest the extraordinary life you were born for? Or will you be content to dream of greatness while watching from the sidelines as others claim the success you crave? The path ahead won't be easy, but then again, nothing worth achieving ever is. Expect the grind to be brutal and unrelenting. It will test your fortitude and demand more from you than you may think you're capable of giving. But I promise you this, if you can weather that storm, if you can sustain your efforts through the periods of fear and doubt, you will emerge on the other side as a rare human being who has forged an unbreakable spirit and an unwavering self-belief through the transformative power of the grind. That is the great secret that the masses have yet to understand. Achievement, real, tangible success that fulfills the wildest dreams of your youth, isn't granted. It's earned through blood, sweat, and tears in the trenches of the daily grind. It's cultivated through those unwitnessed actions and choices made in the silence, in the shadows where so few are willing to venture. You see, those bright lights and thunderous applause aren't rewards handed out freely. They're trophies that are seized, that are claimed through years of incessant effort and dedication when no one is watching or keeping score. It's that grind, especially when embraced in humble silence, molds you into the sort of unstoppable force that no setback or critic can deter once you've tasted the fruits of your efforts. So if you have a vision for how you want your life to be, if you have ambitions that burn brighter than the fears and doubts that threaten to extinguish them, then go forth and grind in silence. Let that grind refine you and reveal your truest, most powerful self. Own those struggles, those periods of want and uncertainty, and allow them to fortify your resolve rather than breaking your spirit. As someone who has walked that path of grinding in silence from the deepest valleys to the highest peaks, that there's no dream too audacious for those who embrace the grind. Worlds will be altered, lives will be transformed, legacies were written in the silence before their creators ever step into the light to receive the accolades and achievements they've earned. That is the power of the grind in silence. By walking that path, you join the ranks of history's giants who manifested their greatness through sustained, focused effort over years, not days or weeks. You become one of the rare human beings whose life can't help, but serve as an inspiration to all who bore witness to your ascent, from humble beginnings to the iconic heights you've climbed through sheer force of will. The choice is yours, but for those who are ready to be forged anew in the fires of the grind, who are ready to manifest their greatness and leave a legacy that inspires those who follow after you. Let that be our bond. That quest to elevate ourselves and each other to the highest peaks of achievement and self-actualization that this life has to offer. The path won't be easy, but nothing worth achieving ever is. But I can promise you this, if you can sustain that grind when nobody is watching or cheering you on, you will emerge from those shadows as an unstoppable force that the world won't be able to ignore. Your efforts will demand to be seen, heard, and celebrated. You will stand proud among the rare company of those who were willing to endure the grind in silence. You will join the ranks of those who forged unbreakable spirits and self-belief from the adversity and struggle that broke so many others around you. That is the true reward of the grind in silence. The eternal satisfaction of knowing that you manifested your greatness, not through talk or false bravado, but through the sweat of your brow and the unwavering dedication to doing the work that so few are willing to sustain. Saga in silence. Grind like your life depends on it, because in so many ways it does. Grind until you've left no doubts, made no excuses, and proven to yourself that you have what it takes to elevate yourself from wherever you currently stand to the highest heights your ambition can fathom. Let that grind remake you into something fiercer, more resilient, more powerful than you ever knew. The path is arduous, but the rewards are immense for those who can conquer it. So start grinding, start chipping away at those dreams in the silence, one action at a time. Before long, if you stay committed to the grind, your efforts will coalesce into something unstoppable, a tidal wave of achievement that shatters all expectations and boundaries. That is the power you unlock when you choose to grind in silence, to sacrifice the false praises of today for the real, enduring legacy you're crafting through your actions behind the scenes. It's a power that changes lives, starting with your own transformation into a human being of unbreakable spirit and self-belief. So go forth now and grind. Let that grind resculpt you, refine you, remake you into the heroic visionary you were born to become. And do it all in silence, unburdening yourself of the expectations and judgments of the outside world. Because when you remove all that noise and clutter, you'll find the purest essence of who you are and what you're capable of accomplishing with sustained and disciplined effort over time. The grind in silence doesn't just build physical strength and skill. It forges an indomitable mindset and unshakable self-belief. With each hour of work you put in unseen, with each bead of sweat that goes unwitnessed, you're fortifying your psychological foundations. You're developing a mentality of perseverance, of embracing struggle as the catalyst for growth, rather than running from it. Those who take the easy path, who seek attention and praise before putting in the work, they inevitably crumble when adversity strikes. Their flimsy self-confidence, propped up by the hollow accolades of others, comes crashing down at the first sign of real resistance. Not you, though. Not those who choose to grind in silence. Through the grind, you cultivate a different kind of self-belief, one that's earned through effort rather than gifted. It's an unbreakable faith in your abilities, honed from pushing yourself past perceived limits day after day, year after year. No setback or critic can shake that hardened self-confidence, because you know what you're capable of in a way that spectators could never comprehend. The grind also instills an appreciation for the journey, for the process of sustained effort over fleeting results. You start to find fulfillment in the day-to-day actions, in that ritual of chipping away at your goals bit by bit, rather than seeking grandstanding moments of achievement. The grind makes you value forward momentum above all else. Any progress, no matter how incremental, is sacred when you've embraced the mindset of consistent effort over time. That patience and perspective keeps you grounded as your achievements inevitably grow. You don't allow early tastemakers of success to derail your focus or make you lose sight of the sustained grind that manifested those wins. Fame and accolades don't corrupt your process, because the grind has instilled an unbreakable inner value system. You know that true self-actualization comes from the struggle of iterative effort, not the destination of achievement. Throughout the grind, you're also forced to confront all those inner demons and limiting beliefs that hold so many back from realizing their potential. The grind shines a light on your fears, insecurities, and doubts, and demands that you wrestle with them. There's nowhere to run or hide. It's just you and your dreams locked in a psychological battle where only the strongest ambition can prevail. But every time you show up and grind despite those mental hurdles, you're doing potent identity level work. You're reprogramming your mindset to rise above the circumstances and self-imposed barriers that once seemed impervious. with each hard-earned win over your inner demons. You're forging an unbreakable self-concept of someone who doesn't make excuses or cower from adversity. The grind in silence also equips you with a heightened self-awareness and ability for honest self-assessment. Without the noise of external praise or criticism affecting your perspective, you're able to take a clear-eyed view of your progress, strengths, and weaknesses. That sober self-evaluation allows you to iterate, evolve, and consistently raise your standards for what's possible through the grind. All of this psychological work, cementing self-belief while breaking down limiting mindsets, creates a powerful sense of self-authorship over your circumstances. The grind makes you realize that you are the sculptor, with your actions and choices as the chisel that molds your existence. You're not just a passenger along for the ride of life. You're the writer of your story through the blood, sweat, and tears poured into each day's grind. That soaring self-authorship unlocks new levels of creativity, resilience, and determination. When you know that you're capable of manifesting any reality you can envisage through sustained effort over time, you give yourself permission to dream at a grander scale. Suddenly, ambitions that once seemed delusional start to feel tangible and attainable through the grind. Your vision for what's possible in your life expands exponentially. At the same time, that heightened self-belief sparked by the grind also lifts you above petty distractions, politics, and the skeptics looking to impede your ascent. You stop wasting mental bandwidth on trivial matters and develop a stoic ability to remain laser-focused on the grind, unbothered by those looking to derail your efforts. The grind equips you with the psychological armor forged from years of perseverance through struggle. Ultimately, the grind in silence is elemental power. It's the ability to transform yourself through sheer force of effort and will, to remake your mind, body, and self-concept into living embodiments of the ambitions you've been silently pouring into day after day, year over year. You become, quite literally, what you've been grinding for when you sustain that ceaseless, unrelenting effort in the shadows for long enough. And then, in what feels like an instantaneous eruption to the outside world, decades of preparatory work from the silent grind manifest into reality. All of those reps in the shadows coalesce into towering achievements and seismic life shifts as your efforts blossom into tangible form. It's only then, after you've crossed those elusive thresholds of greatness through the grind, that the outside world even takes notice of the silent metamorphosis you put yourself through. But by that point, the battle is already won. You stand firmly grounded in an unbreakable identity sculpted by the grind itself. No amount of external recognition, fame, or fortune can impact your core sense of self. Because those heights of achievement feel preordained, inevitable, even they're simply the physical manifestation of the internal recoding you did over years of grinding away in silence. So I'll say it again. If you want to elevate your life to a higher plane of mastery and fulfillment, embrace the grind, but do it in silence. Let those unseen hours of tireless effort remake you into something formidable, self-actualized, a true embodiment of your highest ambitions made flesh through sheer discipline and perseverance. The grind is a ruthless hermetic process. Yes, but it's also an alchemical one. It takes the raw materials of your current circumstances and churns them into something refined, empowered, and ultimately unstoppable. The grind breaks you down only to rebuild you into something vastly more potent, if you can hold strong through the tempering. So retreat into that silence, draw inwards, and get to work chipping away at those dreams through the grind. The results may not be immediately visible to those on the outside, but with each passing day of commitment to putting in those unglamorous but essential reps, you'll be radically redefining who and what you're capable of becoming. And at the end of that solitary grind, after you've molted through layer after layer of outgrown identities and limiting beliefs, you'll finally emerge into the harsh light of the world's main stage. But you won't be blinded or deterred by its glare. You'll be ready, battle-tested, and self-actualized by the trials of the grind. That's the power, the promise, and the ultimate reward for those rare individuals who have the mettle to grind in silence. You transform yourself into something the world can't help but bear witness to. A heroic personification of human potential revealed through flesh, bone, and deliriously sustained effort. The grind remakes you into living inspiration, into a testament to what's possible when someone is willing to pour themselves into the struggle of iterative self-improvement while others settle for mediocrity. So grind in silence and turn inwards. Get to work and watch in awe as you reforge yourself into a masterpiece of effort and perseverance. That defies all expectations for what a human being is capable of accomplishing. Your future, your legacy, your greatness, it's all awaiting you in the shadows. If you're willing to start grinding today, and never stop until you've sculpted yourself into the ideal visionary through those ceaseless, thankless, unseen actions.